Welcome to
Introverts Own Your Voice.
I'm Johanna McLeod.
And I'm Tom Marcoux. And this episode is about how introverts can use your intuition well. Johanna, you had a situation where you listened to your intuition.
Yeah, I got into my car after going to school one day, and I drove up to a light, and it turned green, and normally I would just go right away, but something held me back. Something said, not yet. And I waited there feeling kind of foolish for a few seconds, and then a car went racing through the intersection. If I had turned when I was going to turn, I would have been killed.
So Johanna, you feel that that was a moment where your intuition stepped in, or that you listened to your intuition and you saved yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the not yet, it was very strong, and I just sat there confused while another car went racing through the intersection.
This has come up a couple times recently with my clients and other situations where people are asking, what can I do about my intuition?
Tom, I want to stop you right there. Let's define what intuition really is.
There's a couple of ways of looking at intuition. A number of definitions would say that intuition is knowing, but not using just rational thinking. You know it on perhaps a feeling level.
Mm-hmm.
There's a researcher, I might not pronounce the name exactly correctly, but it's something like Gerd Geiger-Enzer. And he looks on it as a researcher, as a scientist, and he looks at intuition as data that hasn't risen to the conscious level yet. Now this is something very powerful. If you are able to use something that you know, but you can't really put it into words yet, then you can be more powerful. Because often we just don't have enough time to get a complete picture of something and think it through, which is the idea, it's actually the advantage of an introvert. We like to think things through. And often thinking things through is what gives us the edge in any situation. If you think through, let's say, 3 different alternatives for what you can say in a particular, let's say, tough moment, then you're much more prepared, much more ready for any tough moment. The challenge here is that we're kind of going for something completely different. We're going for something where we are allowing ourselves to feel our way into a situation. There was a gentleman who wrote a very popular book called The Gift of Fear. And his name is Gavin de Becker. And he pointed out that we can naturally protect ourselves if we would not distract ourselves from our gut feeling. The challenge here is this, is that there are some people, instead of listening to what they feel, they would, like, for example, there's an elevator and they see somebody on that elevator and instantly they get a bad feeling about it. And instead of listening to their feeling, what they do is they go, oh, this is silly. Or somebody might see me just not get on that elevator and they might think that I'm stupid or paranoid or any of those other ideas, and the person is not following their feeling. They're worried about being embarrassed in some way. We have a word for people who don't follow their intuition. Dead.
So Tom, what specifically helps somebody who is an introvert use their intuition well?
First, you need to make space for your intuition, which means that many of us live in our head a lot. We like to think, and we want to have a whole plan and make things only based on rational thought or conscious thought. So you have to make space, which means you have to get quiet. Now, some people use meditation, some people just take a few deep breaths. I have found that you can even get access to your intuition while you're talking with someone. I have 45 books up on Amazon right now, and every time I've written a book and I've worked on the title, I've talked to a bunch of people about titles. Now, sometimes I'll feel good about a particular title, but people around me will go, no, that's not going to work, or, ooh, I don't like that, or yuck, or... But what happens is I feel my own feelings about it, and sometimes my resolve about going with a particular title becomes stronger regardless of what somebody else tells me. So I'm feeling my own feelings. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I came up with this idea, and it happened because I was in a workshop, and I didn't like how the workshop was designed because I saw it starting to manipulate my friends who were with me.
Yuck.
And so I'm with you. The thing is, is that because I didn't like it, I actually got, well, a bit angry about it. And I was on a train going into San Francisco, and immediately after I got off that train, I immediately went to the instructor's lounge over at Academy of Art University where I was teaching college students and graduate students. And I immediately, on my laptop, wrote 2,000 words.
Oh my goodness.
And the idea that came into my mind by intuition was Darkest Secrets of Persuasion and Seduction Masters, How to Protect Yourself and Turn the Power to Good.
What a wonderful title.
Well, you were maybe in the minority of that thought because there were a number of people around me who were saying, oh no, don't use that title. Oh, I don't like it. It sounds too in your face. It sounds too splashy. It sounds like a gimmick. Don't do that. Well, subsequently, I've had 4 different books that sell every month that begin with Darkest Secrets of. Darkest Secrets of Charisma, Darkest Secrets of Negotiation Masters, Darkest Secrets of Making a Pitch to the film and television industry. And the point is that going with my intuition, feeling my feelings while somebody else was telling me not to do something, is something that helped me.
Oh.
Now, it's a very important idea to go look at that intuition can be data that hasn't risen to the conscious level, which means that if you don't feel you can justify with a wonderful argument, which is what a lawyer would use to somebody, don't disregard. And this is the thing about introverts. If we like to think things through, we might disregard something just because we can't articulate it in a way that will stand up to other people's judgment.
I have a question. Kind of goes into that a little bit more, I hope. What gets in the way of using your intuition when you're an introvert?
The first thing, or the short answer to that, is what gets in the way is what we already depend on. We depend on thinking it through. We depend on getting away from people to recharge. We depend on our own counsel. Just recently I was talking with a really, really intelligent person, someone who's really sharp. In this conversation, because I was seeking to be helpful, I was talking with the person, and this person had an answer for everything. It was interesting because it was as if this person was trying to teach me how smart they are.
Oh, wow.
And the person is intelligent. They apparently do depend on their own intelligence. Ultimately, I got to the point of saying to this person, because I know this person, they actually had been in one of my workshops. I said, you know what? You strike me as an alpha person. You strike me as someone who really strategizes, somebody who was really sharp and intelligent. And if you're always the sharpest, most intelligent person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
In that conversation, I'm just giving you a snippet from the conversation. But what I meant was that this person was relying only on his counsel, his thinking, his rational thought, and was not making space for other people's intuition or thoughts or different experiences among different people, so that new thoughts, new feelings, new intuition related ideas could rise up. So here's another thing that can be a problem for an introvert in terms of starting to use intuition as this wonderful tool in your toolkit. I call it the all or nothing problem. So there are introverts, and it's happened to me too, where we start to get mad at ourselves. We start to feel ashamed that we're not accepting every opportunity, whether it's to go to networking events or to give a speech someplace or a presentation or go meet somebody or go to a particular gathering or party. And what is important for an introvert to do well in life is to become very selective. I've often said that if an extrovert has a giant pizza pie of energy, an introvert has a pecan pie of energy. So if you only have these slices of pecan pie, you need to
eat them all and get fat.
No, thanks. I was really thinking of it as a metaphor that you have slices of energy.
But they're so tasty.
Okay. I normally hear you say that about chocolate.
That's also good.
Yeah, okay. The thing is that what we're doing is we're wanting to be selective. So not all or nothing. Don't dismiss the possibilities of having conversation and then feeling your own feelings. Don't dismiss the opportunities of being around different people. And always be aware that if you have a limited amount of energy that you're going to need to, on purpose, rev up before a networking event, or even going to something where you're just like observing some entertainment, whether it's a movie or a play, a musical play, ballet, something. The idea is that in order for you to be awake and alive for the event, you need to guard your energy before the event. I call it rev up. So, for example, before I give a speech or before I see a film or something like that, I'm likely not to want it to have a meeting because I would have given away my energy.
Yeah.
So that's an important detail. Just before we summarize, Johanna, what is something that you'll take with you from our conversation?
I think just guarding my energy and thinking of those delicious pies.
Okay, I hear you. Once again, the metaphor is that extrovert with pizza pie of energy and introvert with pecan pie of energy. Introverts do better in life when they don't just rely on thinking things through, when they make space so that they can feel their feelings, where they can hear whatever intuitive thoughts that will help them make better decisions. We'd like to share that we have an online class called the Introverts Formula to Get Clients. The next class, with some space still available, is in January 2019. So if you want to pre-enroll, you can go to getthebigyes.com and click on the contact and send us a message. Once again, that's getthebigyes.com.
And so now remember,
Introverts can show their best self with strategy.
I'm Johanna McLeod.
I'm Tom Marcoux.
Thank you.
Be well.
Bye.